I really do appreciate you guys joining us. We still have a few people. We'll give them maybe a minute or so, Jawan, before we start. Hope everybody's doing well. Um, if you could, please mute your mics for me once we get started. I know I can manually do it as well, so please don't be surprised if I mute you when we get started. We got a few in here. Oh, we'll give them one more minute, Jordan. We'll start at 7:35. Once again, how's everybody doing? Hope thumbs up. Everybody's doing well. Hopefully you ate dinner already and you don't have to ate dinner already. You don't have to get up to use the restroom. It's, we have a lot of important information for you folks. And should you forget about anything that we've said tonight, I will have this recorded and I will send this out to everyone as well. Um, we hit the magic time, and I think we are ready to rock and roll.
Cool. Well, first of all, I appreciate everybody for jumping on. I know Monday is always a tough day. You kind of get back in the swing of things and dinner and all that good jazz, but just appreciate it. My name is Jordan. I'm sure I've seen some of you guys. I haven't seen some of you, but you guys will all definitely see me definitely at Hoopland and at some of the games.
Go ahead and unmute yourself again, Jordan. Unmute.
Did you mute me? Did you mute me? I I think you're muted now. No. No, this is just an opportunity for us to connect a little bit, talk about the season, talk about just the expectations uh, that I want you guys to have for us, and expectations we're going to have for you guys, and also your children. But ultimately, I just want to say I appreciate you guys for trusting us with your kid. I have a daughter; she's a basketball player as well, and I'm really adamant about finding the right spot for her, whether it's from a skill development standpoint or just from a community that's positive and just uplifting her. So that's one thing that we really pride ourselves on and try to create in Hoopland is a space where kids feel valued. So thank you guys as parents for believing in us. And a lot's changed over the last. I guess this is our third spring season. We went from having probably 10 teams to having 35 teams in about three spring seasons. So it's grown a lot. And with that, there's a lot of things that we're trying to implement, make sure things aren't falling through the cracks. So for you guys have been with us throughout those years, I appreciate you guys just giving us grace as we grow up and develop as well. Some of the things I want to touch on today um, are just really vital pieces of us creating the experience that you guys want for your children and for you guys as well. The first thing that I want to really talk about is communication. One thing that you guys can expect from us, we're going to always try to overly communicate, whether it's tournaments that are coming up, practice schedule that's going to change, things that are going on in the gym or closures at schools, being snow days or holidays or stuff like that. We try to overly communicate, get those things out to you guys as soon as we possibly can. There's always a ton of moving pieces, so as soon as we hear anything, like I said, we get that information to you. We use a mechanism called Team Snap. You guys have all seen that you are all now on Team Snap. This is our only way that we really communicate because we have so many families that we're trying to get information out to. So I say this in the nicest way. Please, please, please have the notifications on at all points in time so you can get all the information that we're trying to get out. Um, um, and we also use it as a way, our coaches use it as a way for them to plan practice schedules and those sorts of things. So there's two buttons. I think there's two buttons on Team Snap. There's a yes and there's a no button. That maybe button does not exist for us, right? So when you're filling that out and you're trying to say if your kid's going to be at a practice or a game, it's really a yes, no. And the only reason I say that is because our coaches are, building practice plans around that. We're scheduling games and so forth around those things too. So um, definitely, if yes or no, no maybe. There's no such thing as maybe here. And like I said, that's our only form of communication. So we also have parents that are hitting us up throughout, out of Team Snap and so forth. So we try to keep everything as much as possible on Team Snap. Also, too, it's a great way to communicate. But if you have something that you want to talk to myself, Greg, Dre, or one of the coaches, please message us directly. We don't like to use it as an open platform for, all sorts of conversations that probably should be had offline and not necessarily online. And if we see some of those things, we will hit the delete button for sure, because we want those things to be more of an in-house conversation and not, like I said, not outwardly with everyone else. Um, um, our next thing that we want to talk about, since we are abreast up on Team Snap and know the importance of that communication, the next thing is really our non-negotiables. And when we're looking at a team, first of all, we took a lot of time and effort to look at each and individual player, placing them on the team that we feel that they're going to develop. And for us, development means an opportunity to play, right? There's some kids that are better than others as far as in their development. But we don't believe in stacking teams per se, because if we put all 10 kids that are the best on one team, someone's not going to play, right? Because that's just the reality. What we try to do is we try to look at, hey, opportunities for kids to get playing time. Um, Throughout the years, I've always put my daughter on teams where I knew that she was going to develop skills that were required, not necessarily just get T-shirts and trophies. That becomes important later on. But where we are right now, the main thing that we want to do is make sure your child is getting in the game, being able to take some shots, getting those nervous bugs out of them and just really develop confidence. So whenever we're looking at teams, that's how we're actually putting those teams together. So since we are putting a team together, it is important that, attendance is very important in putting a structure of a team together. We're not a program that run 13, 14 kids on a team. We try to keep those numbers at 8 to 10. I'm sure there's a couple teams that have an alternate on them, but we try to keep those rosters small. And that is strictly for the development of those kids. It's hard to do that sometimes. We've run rosters of 8 kids and then we have 3 kids not show up and now we have not an opportunity to play games. I think every parent, including myself, we love small rosters because it creates opportunity for kids to play, but it's really hard to have small rosters when we don't have the kids that are all committed. So, one of our non-negotiables is, as you guys as parents, this is, as much as your kids are playing basketball, you guys have to be committed as well, because you're driving those kids to practices, getting them there, and scheduling the things around practice so they can show up for those in the games. Um, um, it is vitally important, and I'll just be super transparent. We ran into some situations where teams were not able to play in games because we have a full roster, and then we have now 4 kids that can show up for the game. So the commitment that you guys are making is not just to show up to practice, but to show up for games. And you guys are just as much as part of this team as the kids are. Um, uh, Next thing. Next things, along with our non-negotiables. We will be, every coach is going to look at their attendance, and if things are becoming a habit, per se. I had a player that made it to the first practice and then made it to practice number 10 before a game. It's really hard for us to play those kids in a game if they miss 9 practices out of the 10 and the kids are showing up and all the other kids are showing up. We have kind of an embedded system now with our, tiers as far as our, um, level one is our ABYL league, level two is our academy league, and level three is our travel league. So if attendance becomes a problem, then we have to look at other avenues for that particular hooper to be able to attend something. So we'll look at a kind of a lower level commitment. For all you guys are in the academy. Some of you guys are, I think, a part of our Adidas teams as well. If attendance became an issue, okay, we will have to have a conversation about finding a lower level commitment that won't be so attendance heavy.
Jawan,
Uh,
Jawan, let me,
yes.
can you hear me? Oh, okay. So, so, I just really want to just kind of touch on what he's elaborating about in regards to the a lack of attendance, and if it occurs, over and over repeatedly, you know, that was one of the things that we state in the policy. Players will be relocated to a different an area where that commitment is just not as heavy. Because the one thing we want to make sure that everybody understands is when your player isn't able to attend practices, attend games, every family is affected by this. It's not just your family. So we want to make sure that there's a clear understanding on that piece. We're not saying that things are going to come up. We understand, especially at the grade school level, that there's going to be obstacles. They get runny noses and all this other stuff. We understand that. However, we are going to always do our part to make sure your kid has an opportunity to develop, and it's vital that we have a clear understanding that the attendance is a huge part of the team's development as well as the player development. This is why we have stuck this attendance policy in place. There are kids in the AYBL that have missed out on this opportunity because there's just not enough space on each team, right? And there's some kids that went down there because and families that went to the AYBL simply because of the commitment. They family felt like hey, that's not the commitment we're looking for, and so they decided to play in the AYBL. So for everyone here, we have committed to be part of the academy. We understand that we have practices. We understand that we have games. Our 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 part is to make sure that every family, every kid has the ability to grow and develop, and that requires us all to play our part as a team. I'll let you go ahead and finish, Juan.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. It definitely is a crucial piece. And I'm positive that we're not going to run into any of that from these beautiful faces that we have on the Zoom call. So even you, Prescott. Next thing is traveling. We have some teams here that are going to travel. How we do traveling is, first of all, we look at a roster. If there's 10 kids on a roster, we'll block off hotels at that specific location. And then we'll let parents know, hey, here's a code. Go ahead and book the room within those block rooms that we have. There's a traveling fee that every hooper on the roster has to, that every hooper pays. It is $200 per person per trip. And if there's 10 kids on a roster, regardless if you're showing up for that particular game or not, you pay that traveling fee. Kind of the next thing that we want to touch on is I don't know if you guys have seen our cool van that we have now, our Sprinter van. We're super excited about that. There's so many things that we want to do with it. And one of the things that we are going to do is that we're going to do like a big brother, big sister program where some of the older kids are going to show up to the younger kids' games and stuff like that. We'll use it as that is a kind of a mechanism to get those kids there. We're also going to be sure that we're going to use it for some travel trips. Um, but it's just really cool. We want to be able to take some of the kids to even their local games. I think it's just going to be a really cool mechanism to just, you know, make the kids feel like they're superstars, and really stand out, where they feel like they're like a real NBA player, showing up to the game and pulling up right in front and letting them out, and all that good jazz. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Um, I guess one of the last things that I want to touch on, and then I'm going to open up for some questions. So I'm sure you guys have some questions and stuff. Um, when building this academy and building Hoopland, one of the things that we talked about is access and opportunity. Kids nowadays, they have trainers that they go to. They're shooting outside. They're trying to do all these things, and what we wanted to do was make it a one-stop shop. So, obviously, we know that practice is essential from a team standpoint. That's how teams get better, by practicing. Okay, but also too, we know that individuals get better by doing individual skill work. And over this last, I guess, probably month, Dre's been kind of busting his ass, just really putting together some of these classes and stuff of this nature. And you guys have the opportunity with practice and classes and individual training and shooting to really build out a good solid week of training for your kids. There's a place that I went to many years ago, the Mamba Academy in LA. And one thing I loved about it was my daughter was able to practice there. She practiced there. She trained there. She did weights there. She shot on the shooting machines there. And I could really leave her for 3 hours, and I know that she was just going to work out and get better. Um, that's how kids actually mature in their development here. Why practices are fantastic. Practice is not going to make your kid individually better. It's going to make your team better. I think that planning games, those are all fantastic ways to test your skill. But how these kids are going to get better is by them spending ample time in the gym. And we just create a lot of resources for that to happen. I mean, a lot of you guys have come in and been on the shooting machines and probably did some one-on-one stuff. But now having all these classes, I mean, I think we have skills and drills. We're going to have shooting classes. We're also going to have ball handling. We're going to have finishing classes. So we're going to have ATP, which is our athletic performance training. So you have so many opportunities now to chime in and really build your complete weekly schedule out for your hooper. So I hope that you guys take advantage of that. We're super excited about it because, I mean, like I said, this is the way that these kids actually get better. And like I said, we're a development program where we're really focusing on that. And now that you guys have all that access, so um, you know, take advantage of it, please. Your child, I'm sure that they'll love to be a part of as much as possible. And we're just excited to have a full gym of kids getting busy and just trying to get better. So with that, I'm going to open it up for some questions, so we can be timely with you guys and get you guys off of this call.
Warren, did you touch on the AYBL in regards to the fifth grade and up
No,
as
I did
well?
not. You want to go ahead?
Yeah. So if any of you guys are returning in that actually seventh and we started it last season with just seventh and eighth graders, but we will be doing it with fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth graders this season. So you guys, so each one of the players will actually be assigned to another roster where because we want to mix up those teams as well, and we want the kids to kind of be in a situation where they're not being overly coached. They're also they that's good. Think of it more so like it's an opportunity for them to kind of explore their skill sets without being penalized or causing, feeling like there's some pressure behind the game. So with our seventh and eighth graders who participated with this last season, I mean, it was an absolute hit amongst those families. I think they got 6 games in. Um, Yeah, they got 6 games in, played the championship, all that jazz. So this season is going to be a longer season, and we mix all of our players. We take the club players and the non-club players, and we intertwine them all together, and they are on separate teams. And I think Greg, if I'm not mistaken, I think fifth and sixth graders they play on Tuesday, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so they'll be playing Tuesday evenings, and then the seventh and eighth graders will be playing on Thursday evening. Again, that's no additional anything. All of our players are actually included into this at no extra charge whatsoever. Um, the fifth and sixth grader is a new division for fifth and sixth grade is a new division for us right now. Based off of our rosters, we have 6 teams that will be participating in that. And that's all at Hoopland, and games will start around I think 7 o'clock. So there will be one game that will be the later game, which is at 8 o'clock. But all those kids, they'll receive their rosters and their assigned teams. Also, for some kids, they may like to play together. Of course, we can't put our whole purpose is to not put their current teams together. They may have a couple of kids, or even if they have friends that didn't make their club team, they can actually be on that team as well to play with those guys, right? And it's a great environment for kids to kind of spread their wings and have fun and not feel any pressure. And we really are encouraging that, even as coaches. They'll play 20 minutes. There is no we every 5 minutes they get subbed out regardless to what. So there is no if in the event if we have 7 to 8 I think the roster has 8 players. So we try to manage those extra minutes throughout each player. But it's a great time, and parents have raved about it. So we wanted to make sure that we gave the that next grade level, which is the fifth and sixth graders, that same experience. And our hope is to eventually move it to with our third and fourth graders as well.
Dre, could I just correct one thing? I think you misspoke. It's 40
20
minutes
minute
full, right?
halves.
Not 20. Yeah, 20-minute halves.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, 20-minute halves, 40-minute games.
But I
Thank
wanted
you.
to echo, it was a great experience for a lot of kids.
Yeah, parents, it's basically a pickup game, kind of slightly organized. Kids go in every 5 minutes. It is. I remember the first time I just, I think I went to the seventh and eighth grade, and I was just telling Dre, I was like, this is crazy, right? Like the energy, kids are just running, moving fast. They're playing carefree. And I think that sometimes, that's what's missing for, some of these kids as they're growing. That you get so segmented on running a play and doing this. When we played back in the day, I mean, hell, we just went to the park and just started playing with 4 other players. And I think that they get that piece of it, which I think that brings out a different player. So hopefully they can kind of take some of that.
Were you using like a basket and a pole back in those days?
You're older than me. You're older than me.
No, sorry, my
So
bad.
I will tell you guys, the oldest person that we have here on staff is Dre. So yeah. So him and Art, they're both the oldest. So yeah.
Hey, Juwan, just to confirm, who's allowed
Yes,
to
sir.
play in this league? We're new to Hoopland.
Very
Excited to be here. I just wasn't following. Is any kid able to join if they're not in the AYBL or?
No,
Okay.
no. So this time it was that it's called the AYBL Select, because what we did was we selected players like we were saying earlier. We actually selected some of the players that was not selected on the club team, right?
Okay.
And combined them with the club team. Versus our first season, we actually just opened it up and let people join in with our club players. But
Okay,
this time
got it. So
around,
if your
yeah.
kid is on a club team, they can't come to the AYBL Tuesdays, right? That's separate.
No. They're sorry. No, they're included. Our club members are already included into the rosters. So they're gonna have
Oh, okay.
yeah. So
Oh, that's
you'll be
exciting. Okay, got
yeah.
it.
So
Thank you.
you'll see on Team Snap. We're gonna
Okay.
be Greg. When are we releasing the rosters for this?
More than likely Thursday, Friday, and we'll be
Yeah.
sending an email. We won't post it on the team snap of the club teams. We'll be sending it out email.
So it'll be your roster
Great.
along with
Thanks.
your schedule.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did I hear it right? Like fifth grade looks like practices are Monday, Wednesday, but these games are always on Tuesdays.
Yeah. So so what we did was we actually took the schedule and we offset your actual practices so those players can participate in their AYBL games. Go ahead, Jordan.
No other questions?
And that's for fifth grade and up, right? Not fourth grade or third.
Correct. We anticipate that next season, which probably is going to be our summer right in June, is when we're actually going to do the third and fourth grade division.
I have some questions just around the schedule. Like, looks like a lot of Sundays it says versus Peak. Is that a league that they're in, or
Yes, it is.
okay?
Yep.
And are those all at a specific place, or
Yep. So the Peak League games are going to take place in Mercer Island, right? And so I think Peak runs until I want to say end of May, mid May. So those teams that are participating in the Peak will then from there go into their actual tournaments.
okay? So there's no tournaments until after the Peak League.
Correct.
So that's I'm seeing like May 31st when it says DYS. That could be a tournament.
That'd be your actual first tournament.
Okay. Do you know how many tournaments? Like for fifth
So
grade?
yep. So after that, you'll do two tournaments every month.
Got it.
I have a question.
Yep.
This is our first year with Hoopland as well. So the access to training facilities, like if we want to use the shooting machine, that's an extra cost, or if we're on the team, do we get access to that for free?
Yep. You that's included into your team fee. So you have access to Hoopland. You can schedule shooting machines, anything within that realm of the facility itself, right? We have some kids that come in, they'll jump on the shooting machine, but then we have some kids that are just coming into the gym to use the backside of the gym where we have the other court, and they're just getting up shots.
Oh,
So,
great. So we could just drop in, they can just drop in to shoot around by themselves?
oh, for sure, absolutely,
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
That's great.
And I guess that's the part where that's the part where we are talking mostly about, like, for us and what we've designed this thing for is our whole mission was to make sure that our program gives these kids opportunity and access. Now, we can't hold them to it. What they do with it and what the family does with it is completely out of our hands. But I guarantee you, compared to any other program, there is not the opportunity and access that you will have at Hoopland, right? It ultimately falls on how you take advantage of it from a
All right.
development standpoint. That is.
Understood. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
I have two quick questions. One regarding the schedule for the fifth grade. Does that go until early July or end of July? Because we thought initially it was going to go through early July, but then when we looked at the schedule on Team Snap, it
Yep.
goes through end of July.
Okay, so how that works? So again we try our best just to just kind of get the schedule out as it is tentative, right? Because sometimes, especially when you go that far out, some of these things kind of change within even the tournaments themselves, right? That's out of our control. So what we do is we try to go jump ahead and pick tournaments that we feel like, okay, well, this is best suited for this team. And so even
Right.
though when we say the month of July, it can be that team runs into that last tournament for them can run into the end of July. We try to prevent that for some teams, but if there's no tournaments that they can have that's earlier, we actually that will be the one that's actually posted. But if we in the event we find one that's earlier, some of those schedules will change at
Okay,
the when you get that farther into that far into the season. Those are just those are tentative and
great.
then at least in the month of July.
Thank you. And
Yeah,
the second question I have is, you mentioned that the children can actually request to be on the same team for that AYBL.
correct.
How do we do that? How do we send the request?
That is going to be Coach Greg.
Okay.
Greg, yeah, Coach
Got
Greg.
it.
You can send that information to Coach Greg, and he'll try his best to. I think he's been working on the schedules already, but we haven't released them. So if you do have a buddy request for a player and he's in your same age group,
Yep.
you can send that information to Coach Greg, and
Perfect.
he'll try
Thank you.
he'll try his best. Yeah, no problem.
And you can direct chat me on TeamSnap. You can make
Got
those
it.
requests on TeamSnap.
Thank you, Greg.
Other
How far are
questions?
these tournaments
Go
going to
ahead.
be? Maybe for fourth graders or maybe and beyond? Like, how far are the tournaments generally? Are they driving? I mean, are we taking a flight?
No,
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 no.
no,
They're all
no.
driving. So typically tournaments will be North End, Kirkland, Bellevue. Those, it might actually be in Kent as well, but that's pretty much it.
Oh, okay, they're local. Oh, okay, I thought you said something about hotels or something like that.
Yeah, that's for our traveling teams. Our fourth graders aren't
Oh,
traveling. Yeah.
gotcha.
In Auburn is usually the farthest that those tournaments tend to go. Yeah, no questions. This is nice. I think we're getting better at sending out that information.
I don't know. They'll
Those
just all be
those
emailed
those
later.
those team. Well, yeah, no, I mean we don't want to hold you guys up. I mean, if nobody have any more questions, or if you guys, if you do, shoot them, and if not, you guys can feel free to email Greg or Jawan. And
I got one. It's an opportunity just to meet our kids' coach. It's like first practice will be time to do that, or what's the appropriate way to get to know the coach?
oh, sorry. Sorry, you cut out. Can you say that again?
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, is there any kind of team meeting to like get the chance to meet who our kids' coach will be, or just show up at the
Oh
first
yeah.
kind of deal? Or
Yeah. No, so what we're gonna have is we're gonna have our kind of our family face off. So we actually do an event in the spring that we'll actually do an event at Hoopland with all of our teams. So it's just kind of like a family friend type of environment where the coaches coaches are there, parents are there, players are actually kind of intertwined so they can meet each other, but we also kind of split them up into their teams so they can actually meet the coaches. And yeah, no, we'll be putting that on the schedule here. Greg, what day did we kind of pick out for that? Tentatively, at least.
Yeah,
It's on a Sunday.
yeah, it'd be March 23rd.
Was it
Okay.
March 23rd?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, actually, no, that date's going to change though.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna change before that date's gonna change.
I have one last question regarding the AYBL Thursday night games. That's only for fifth grade and up, you said, or sixth grade and up?
That's fifth grade and up. The AYBL is fifth grade. What's up, Trey? We see you back there. Yeah, it's fifth grade and up.
Got it, thanks.
Yeah. So for those who have not used Hoopland yet to come in and shoot, um, you know, please download the app if you haven't done so, or come down to Hoopland. We can help you out with that stuff, give you access to the door so you guys can get in. And then it's gonna be an app that you can schedule your shooting machine. So you'll be able to schedule in 30-minute increments. So you might say shooting machine number one, it's available from 3:30 to 4 o'clock. So you can schedule it that way. And then you come in and that's your machine that you'll shoot on. So yeah, it's really easy once you get all set up with that. So for those who haven't, done that yet, we can help you guys out with that, or you kind of just show up yourselves and we can help you once you're there as well. So
Yeah. And there was a question in the chat. What are the hours of open shooting? So our hours of operation at Hoopland is Monday through Friday, 1 to 7 p.m. And then Saturdays from 10 to 5. Those hours will change significantly during the when summer hits. We try to adjust those hours so they're a little more suitable for the kids. But yeah, so hopefully that was I answered that question.
Also, to piggyback on the booking of your shooting sessions, you're able to book a week in advance. And so just make sure, as spring and summer comes, we have an influx of members. So just make sure you're on that and try to get your schedule in as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that, when you're scheduling sessions, the one thing that you can do, so when we say unlimited, you do have unlimited access. However, outside of the facility, even if let's say you do your planner and you want to plan your schedule for a week in advance, you're only allowed to book one session per day in those 7 days. If you book multiple sessions outside of the facility, they will get kicked out of the system. So how that works, that is, if you actually schedule it on Monday, once you check in, you can schedule another session if it's available immediately, right then and there, right? And the reason why we do that, we call it the only one policy. The reason why we do that is because we have so many members, and imagine if we didn't give everybody an opportunity. I can just go into the schedule. I can go book 3 hours on right? We only got 7 courts that have shooting machines, so we're trying to prevent that so that doesn't happen and give everybody access to those shooting machines.
Real quick, someone asked a question about the Peak League schedule. Once we get the schedule, we will upload all those games. And I guess one other thing that I'll talk about, the tournaments themselves, like we'll have a tournament scheduled. You won't get the schedule until Tuesday or Wednesday of that tournament. So once the tournament director gives it to us, then we'll upload it. So you might see a tournament, you're like, when do we play? And no one knows until the week of. So just to give you guys that
Yeah,
FYI.
we're on it when it comes to the schedule. So if you don't see it up, it's a reason we haven't received it. They haven't released it. So as soon as we get notified, we begin uploading all the tournaments ASAP. When do the door codes get sent out? So door codes. So in regards to the doors, we the previous years we sent all the door codes out early, tried to just to give them to families. Our plan for this next couple of weeks is we're going to actually leave those doors unlocked, just because we know we're going to have a lot of coming and going between families and new players and whatnot. And so for us, most of those times we send those codes out, we got to help with people get their phones set up anyway, right? So we're going to work on now just trying to get those codes out, but we just want to make sure if you are booking shooting sessions, you don't have to be concerned about getting into the building for that first week or so, week and a half. You're going to have access when you come in, and we can set you up because we will lock those doors again after probably within the next couple of weeks. We're gonna, we try our best to accommodate everyone in regards to the door passes, but it gets a little overwhelming when you have so many people and we're trying to set those accounts up. So. Is there a link to the app to book shooting? Greg, did you in regards to the Hoopland app, is that on one of those forms?
Yeah, and on for the Android users. There is Benjamin Thomas. Are you here, Ben? I got to give him credit because he actually he
Right
act
here.
yeah, got to give him credit. He actually found a way to download Pike 13 on for Androids. And so, Ben, if you want to chime in, I can give you the floor.
Yeah, sure. So so if you go to the Google Play store, just Pike 13, and you just sign in with your Hoopland username and password, and it looks just like the Apple version. So I found that by looking at your guys' website. It's built by Pike 13, and they have an app just for scheduling and everything, and it's pretty slick.
And Greg, you can you can actually take that link, right, and add it to, and we can toss that into a post, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
And as far as the AAU memberships, you can go on. Actually, I did a post on each one of the team snaps. If you look in there, there should be a link to AAU site, and you can, and also our club numbers for those. You can use either one of those numbers. So if you have any issues finding that information, just direct message me, and I can get that information to you.
Hey guys, this is Matt Hoskinson. Hey, which Pike 13 one is it? Is it Pike 13 kiosk or just Pike 13?
I believe it's just Pike 13.
Okay, thank you. I'll give it a whirl.
I think that sounds like it's about it. Well, I appreciate everybody hopping on. And just feel free. In every team snap, you'll see myself, Greg, and Dre on there. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out that way as well. But other than that, we're looking forward to this season. Looking forward to seeing all the kids in the gym and just working. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So I appreciate you guys for, like I said when we started this call, just trusting us with your kiddo. And
Jawan, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Before everybody gets off here, again, I just want to go back and stress the importance of your kid attendance. I just can't stress that enough. Please, please, for the sake of the development of that team and your player, attendance needs to be a priority. Go ahead, Juwan.
that was it, man. I appreciate you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
You
guys.
too, guys. Appreciate it.
Seeing everyone.
Thanks all.